far. My name is Bob Carver, and I'm just going to get right into it, okay? I hate getting older. I really do. My newest problem right now, I'm spontaneously farting. When I'm walking too fast or climbing stairs, yeah, I just crump this table on the way up here. I'm so sorry. Since I'm a comic, did it smell funny? But I'm a storytelling comic, okay? And I'm going to start off by telling you guys one of my favorite stories, okay? A couple months ago, my wife was standing at the front door and she goes, "Oh, Bob, I forgot to do your laundry. You think you can handle it?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "No, are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, babe, I got it." So as she's walking to her car, I'm thinking to myself, you know, I've been married to this beautiful woman for 30 years, and for 30 years she's been doing my laundry. But how hard could it be, man? I did it when I was a single man, right? So I did what I did back then. I grabbed every stitch of clothing I own, and I went into our laundry room. Now, our laundry room in our house is one of those in-between rooms between the garage and the house. So I walked in that room and popped open the machine and proceeded to pack every single piece of clothing I had inside that machine. And then I went to grab the soap. That's when things got stupid. 30 years ago, you just had the cup. You just filled it up there and poured it in there. She didn't have those. She had these pine tree scented soap pack things. And I didn't know how many to use. And I wasn't going to call her. So I grabbed about 5 of those suckers, popped in the machine, closed the lid, and forgot about it. Well, you know what happened? I walked inside that room after about 2 hours. 3 feet of suds inside the entire room. Smelled like a pine tree forest. So I had to get the cleaning supplies to clean up this huge mess that were in the garage. So I had to walk through that room. I'm slipping and sliding. Crop dusted myself. Smelled like someone shit a Christmas tree in there. So I'm looking at the cleaning supplies and I remember something my dad told me. My dad always told me, you know what? There's a right tool for the job. I found it. The leaf blower. Walked back in that room, left the door open, blew all the suds out into the garage. It was fine. But when I went to the machine, I opened up the lid. I discovered my clothes were still soapy. Figured, screw it. Dried them, hung them up, and forgot about it. Now, I kid you not, as soon as I got done doing the laundry, my daughter calls me. She goes, "Hey, Dad, you think you can watch the grandkids tonight overnight?" I'm like, "Sure. They spend the night all the time when my wife's up." But I figured I could handle it, so let me introduce them to you, okay? I've got a 1-year-old granddaughter. She's called Princess Adira. I got a 5-year-old grandson. Whoa, yeah. We call him Bud Bud. But I pick him up and I bring him home, and we had a good time, really, we did, until it became time for bedtime. My wife normally took care of that. But it wasn't too bad. The 1-year-old, she passed out on her own. But that 5-year-old, I had to induce that on him. I found something out about a 5-year-old boy. He'll drink Bud Light. Man, you should have seen him after his first beer. Looked just like this pawpaw. Sitting on the couch, his belly hanging over his Spider-Man underoos, half-burnt cigarette hanging out of his mouth. On my phone trying to figure out how to call Domino's Pizza while wasted. But the funniest part was the next morning when he woke up with this little baby hangover, sitting at the kitchen table with his bowl of cereal, just crying to me, "Papa, Papa, the Rice Krispies, they're too loud." But I promised I'd make it up to him. I did. I promised I'd make it up to him. I promised I'd take him to the zoo. So I put on some clothes of Princess Adira, put on some clothes of Bud Bud. I packed them all up, and we headed to the zoo. Now let me tell you something about myself. I like to drive fast. It's just something I do. And on the way to the zoo, Bud Bud was loving the way I was driving. We were on the highway when he asked me, "Hey, Papa, what's that R stand for in your stick shift?" Just kidding around with him, I said race. So without hesitation, he grabs my stick shift and throws my car in reverse. My car spins out of control. All I hear is screaming. I look over at Bud Bud. Bud Bud's not screaming. He thinks he's on a Six Flags ride going, whee! I look back at Princess Adira. Princess Adira isn't screaming either. She's completely passed out from the G-force. Just. I look in the mirror. It's me. I'm the one that's screaming. When the car finally stopped spinning, I finally realized now I'm going 95 miles an hour down the highway in reverse. And of course, a cop's sitting right there. But it worked out all right because he clocked me doing negative 95 and a positive 65, pulled me over and wrote me a check for $300. Put 3 points on his license. Well, we made it to the zoo. We had a great time. We saw the lions and the tigers and the bears. Oh my. That's what she said. But before we leave, we always go see the elephants. Okay? And so I'm pushing Princess Adira in her stroller and Bud Bud's walking beside me. And we go see the elephants and I look down at him and I see him scratching his head thinking. And finally he turned and looked at me and goes, hey, Pawpaw, what's that long thing right there? That's the elephant's trunk. That's what we use to make little, or that's the elephant's trunk they use to pick up nuts with. He goes, no, but no, Pawpaw, the other long thing. I said, well, that's the elephant's tail. That's what he uses to swat flies with. He goes, no, Pawpaw, the thing in the middle, hanging out on the ground, that long thing right there. I said, oh, well, but that's the elephant's thing, and that's what he used to make little elephants with. I thought I dodged a bullet, and still saw him thinking, and finally turned up and looked at me and goes, Pawpaw, I'm confused. I was here a couple of weeks ago with Grandma, and she said that's nothing. I said, well, but Grandma's kind of spoiled. Now, I shouldn't have said that. Because I do believe in karma. And karma hit me right then and right there. Began to sprinkle. I went, oh no, we are so far away from the car, we got to get back to the car right away. So I'm pushing Princess Adira in a stroller and Bud Bud's walking beside me. And the closer we got to the zoo exit, the harder it began to rain. And I looked down at my clothes. Some of you may have guessed it. My clothes start getting soapy again. I totally freak out. I start really walking fast. I start spontaneously farting and bubbles were flying on my butt. Kids at a zoo thought it was some sort of zoo attraction. To this day, I can't go back to the zoo with one of the workers there walking up to me and going, aren't you the farting bubble guy? So we get to the car, we're soaking wet. We drive home, and as soon as we get home, I change Princess Adira's clothes, and she passes out on her nap. I change my own clothes, I change Bud Bud's clothes, and at that particular moment in time, I was exhausted. All I wanted to do is pop in a movie, sit on the couch, and take a nap. But I saw Bud Bud sitting at the back door looking out the window, and saw him thinking again. Let me explain. We did something really cool for him. We built this sandbox in the back of our house. And he likes to go digging in there for worms. He calls it going to work. So he's by the back door, and he finally turns. He goes, Pawpaw, I need to go to work. So, it's raining, Bud Bud. No one's going outside right now. He goes, I need to go check on my worms and make sure they don't dry out. So there's plenty of water out there. They'll be fine. But he started putting on his boots. He goes, well, I'm going to go check on them. And I'm like, oh. So I get up on the couch, I walk up to him and said, no, Bud Bud, no one's going outside right now. Then he did it. Walked up to me, grabbed my hand, looked up at me with those big blue eyes. He goes, but you can come with me? All right. I looked back at him and said, no, Bud Bud, I don't want to get wet. He goes, well, why would you get wet? I said, because it's fucking raining outside. It slipped. It did, it slipped. I was tired, I guess. I did. But you should have seen his eyes. His eyes got so big. Pawpaw. When we go outside, can you tell me what fucking means? Oh no. I knew I was in big trouble. I looked down at him and said, you want to know what that word means? He goes, yeah. I said, well, I'll tell you what it means. It means if you never say that word again, we'll go out and check on your words. So a couple of days later, I was expecting to get a call from my daughter that he said that word again, But he didn't get that call. My wife comes home from her business trip, and she was so happy how clean the laundry room was. And about a week later, I got the call. My daughter calls me, and I pick up the phone and say, hey, babe, what's up? She goes, Dad, you're never going to believe what Bud just said to me. I said, what did he say? He said, well, he was by the window looking out there, and he finally turned to me and goes, hey, Mom, it's fucking raining outside. I need to go to Pawpaw's and check on my worms. I went, oh, no. What could I possibly say? So I picked up, I said, look, there's only one thing to say. So I said, okay, here's what you tell Bud. Tell Bud it's fucking raining here too, and his worms are fine, right? That's my Bud story. We got any Christians in the audience? Christians? Okay. I'm a Christian. I've been a Sunday school teacher for 8 years. And I taught the second and third graders, and I always stand at the front door, and I used to greet them when they walk in the door. Good morning, brother. Good morning, sister. Good morning, brother. After about the third week, boy stopped and turned to me and goes, why do you keep calling me brother? I said, well, because you're my brother in Christ. He looked at me and goes, you look more like an uncle. Well, I say that to say this, if we all just treated each other more like brothers and sisters, this would be a better world, right? Yeah, I think so. All right, so let me try some new stuff for you, okay? All right. Recently, me and my wife sold her house, and her parents sold her house, and we moved in together to take care of each other. And that's a joy that just keeps on giving. I got a father-in-law named Rodney. His goal in life is to piss people off. And he gets on social media and he doesn't know how to use it. He just gets on Facebook and just starts typing, just start ranting. I don't understand my neighbors. They let their dogs bark all day long and it's just as crazy, I just can't stand that. And then the next day, he goes back on Facebook and sees his post, but he doesn't know that it was him that wrote that post. So he'll reply to that post. Oh man, that's happening over here too. We should be Facebook friends. I mentioned I was married for 30 years. Okay? And I absolutely love my wife, but I got in trouble recently. Yeah. We almost got a divorce. She caught me cheating. And she looked at her Netflix account and discovered I watched 3 extra episodes of a show that we promised to watch together. Boy, she was mad. I tried to explain her, I said, baby, it just didn't mean anything. She was, well, if it didn't mean anything, you wouldn't have done it 3 times. I said, but baby, it was all on the same night. She didn't